it today because you still talking about it last night.
Woohoo! Go Wendy.
Awesome. 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 So I went ahead and hit record. So anybody that wants to watch this back, it, has the playback. Yeah, I feel like, we kind of need to branch out a little bit on other social media platforms. I've been very resistant to doing that just because I don't have time to learn something, you know, but, I mean, so many people are having like really big success on TikTok. And, if you get one video that goes viral, you can, really make a big difference. So, of course, you have to have some followers, and I'm at 103 right now. Whoop, whoop. So, I'm just kind of in the process of trying to grab some followers, not really knowing how to do that, but that's what I'm on the path of doing. The one thing I wanted to talk about with you all today is the trip and how to wrap up the last few months to make sure you're earning the trip that you want and that you have your sights on, and how to do that. But before we do that, is there anything else that you all want to chat about or have questions about, anything like that?
Nothing that we don't talk about and beating the horse that we just aren't getting, like getting new people to get going. Like even my new people are like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I never did see
go ahead, Wendy.
I never did see an invite to the next ball game thing. And I have more bookings now than I did before. So I don't know if I missed a call on that yet or if it hasn't started.
So we have a batter up group that's anybody that has 5 to 8 bookings. And then we have the major leagues for 8 bookings or more now, I think, kind of.
Yeah. What do y'all have, Wendy?
We're at 10 now.
Okay. Let me put you in.
And we booked 2 vendor events. And we're going to do an open house when the new products come out. We're going to have everybody come play with them at our house.
You know what? Richard and I are doing the same thing. I thought that would be a really cool, it would never be a great way to do an in-house fun thing.
Yep.
All right. So Wendy, I have you added to the
Thank you.
major league. Is everybody else in that? Major leagues.
I'm in it.
I do want y'all to give me ideas. What do y'all want me to talk to the batter up people tonight? Because I was kind of whimming it because I just felt like people were feeling, oh my gosh, I'm trying so hard and still not getting there, and I knew that they needed to work harder to be where they needed for major leagues, but I want to have something to have them continue to feel positive and move forward on.
I don't know, because honestly, I'm feeling deflated too. So I don't know if I'm too much of an inspiration right now. I mean, because Jennifer and Melanie and I last week were in a good chat about, because, I've volunteered to help Melanie with this new chat. And on Thursday night, she had one person out of all those people that joined the 1st of August and the end of July, only one person showed up. And I know we're kind of like, where's the disconnect with, once we get new people? I mean, Melanie set up the Facebook page. She's got it now back in Messenger, but there's nothing, I don't know. And my suggestion was, which I know we all are stretched thin and doing everything else, but it's almost like sometimes some of their upline put them in this chat and then they go, okay. And, Melanie's kind of left doing everything. I mean, that's just my opinion. I've talked to Melanie about it. I know she's frustrated too and wants to be the best she can, but like all of us, we're all volunteering our time. It's just pulling teeth to get these people to do anything.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to reevaluate our new consultant strategy, because what we were doing before isn't working. It's just, I think that we were adding so many people at the time. It's like everybody was jumping in the boat. And then so we put them in this group to help facilitate all the people that were there coming in, so we wouldn't have to do one-on-ones. Well, now we're not having all these people come jump in the boat. We're having fewer people and we're still trying to dump them in a group, and that's not what's going to work. So I have decided, because you all, the first 3 months, let's see, so far this year, I have recruited 31 people.
Wow.
Guess how many I qualified?
6.
Yeah, about 8.
Okay.
6 or 8.
Yeah, I just looked at mine. I have 18 and mine's about the same, 5-ish.
Yeah. And you know, I was really reflecting back on what the heck was happening. And yes, there are a lot of people coming aboard that, you know, don't want to do anything. And I think there's this whole economy work ethic thing that has just really went in the toilet. You know, with people not having to work for 2 years. And now they don't want to go back to work. And I really think that the whole economy really put a damper on that. However, I think a lot of it was me too. I was still trying to throw them in the chat and group them all together and get them all off to a start that way. And that's not what's going to work. I really need to focus more on one-on-one attention with them. And so the past couple weeks when I've really been focused on recruiting, because I didn't recruit the last 2 months because I was exhausted and I was discouraged because all the people that I had recruited before weren't doing anything. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to recruit if it's wasting my time trying to, you know, me recruit them and then they're not doing anything. I had to completely change my mindset and just get over myself and quit whining. I decided today I'm just over being tired of it. You know, I'm tired of saying, well, this the economy. I'm tired of saying the whole company is going downhill. You know what? I've never been one to jump on a bandwagon like that. So I'm getting over it and I'm moving along. And I'm going to be one that is, you know, breaking the norm and moving above and beyond. And if y'all want to go with me, please do. We can all jump this boat together and we can just head on north because that's where I'm heading. I'm over saying it's just not working for the whole company because I'm just done with that. So I decided that this morning. With everything because I completely lost the chance to earn Italy, and that was kind of devastating for me because I mean I earned the last 2 trips. I was actually one of the top achievers of the trips, and then for me to go from that to not earn it was just very frustrated. So I was in a pity party the past week or so, and so this morning I decided I'm over it. I'm just forgetting that I didn't accomplish that and I'm moving forward and I'm going to start accomplishing things that I put in front of me. So with that being said, I decided that I'm going to work more closely with my new consultants and I'm really just taking them, you know, hand in hand, and I am focusing on them, getting them the best start that I possibly can. And out of the last 4 that I've signed, they're really doing something and they're almost qualified. I mean, they're getting close to qualifying. We're doing their launch party. We're getting their new shows set up. And so I'm just determined to help them get qualified. And then once they're qualified, help them move along past that. So I do feel like that where that new consultant chat group is good for information, it's not good for inspiration, and it's not good for encouragement, meaning that they need one-on-one attention and they need someone that's really hand-holding them, which I know is exhausting sometimes. I do. But if I don't get new people on my team, then we're just going to keep sinking in a hole. So I'm determined to, and hear me say this in the right way. I'm taking a little step back in my personal business to devote that time to new consultants. And the only reason I'm taking a step back in my personal business is because I have a very, very strong personal business. I book 8 shows every week, right? If you don't have that extra buffer to take a step back in your personal business, know that, you know, that's not, we can't do that because we have to have a strong personal business first and foremost before we can do anything else. How can we help another consultant be successful if we're not feeling like we're successful ourselves? So hear me say, make sure you have what you need first and then focus on other people. But anyway, so out of my 8 that I typically run myself, I am trying to make 2 of those launch parties, 2, and then this week I even have 8 that are, I only have 4 that are my own and 4 that are either a launch party that I flipped or a new consultant that really needs help doing their first party. So I'm taking that time and helping them be successful at that. So that's what I feel like I need to do right now for my business in order to get some people that are actually doing something. I don't know. Oh, I was thinking, how did I get on this topic? So, yeah, I do feel like that the new consultant call series, I feel like that has not been publicized enough. It's not been hyped up enough. It's not been presented as mandatory. And I really feel like it should be mandatory. I feel like saying, hey, jump on this if you can is not okay. Any person that starts a new job has an orientation. This needs to be one of their orientations. And I also, Melanie does an amazing job. I love her slides that she does. I love the information that she gives. I feel like we need something, a little more element of excitement. And I know Melanie's told me that before. She's like, Jennifer, I don't feel like I present the excitement and the motivation and stuff that you do. I get that. That's kind of a little niche that I have. Melanie has a whole different niche. But I feel like maybe I need to get back on the calls too, to give a little more inspiration and motivation and more foresight of what they can get out of this business. However, if there's only one person on the call, that's not doing much good. We've got to really work on getting more people on the call. Love had told me that they had started doing a sign-up sheet for new consultant calls, like a Google form, and then they're offering, all the directors are in agreement that they are going to offer Happy Mail for people that get on the call. So if one of your people get on the call, you would then provide, send them Happy Mail. I think that's a great idea. I think we really need to have some kind of something to make it exciting. We need more presence of the new consultant call on our team pages. Right. And I'll tell you, I've not been good about it. I forget that it's the Thursday that it's the call. And then I'm scrounging trying to text people or message people. Oh my gosh, don't forget the calls tonight. So I know myself, I have to do better at that. So I think one thing, we're missing the boat on getting the word out there. And again, making it like what's another word other than mandatory? Like highly recommended, like I even kind of feel like
I just tell them we ask you to attend this first orientation call because it's the best way to kickstart your business. This is the next date that's available. Are you free?
Yeah. I feel like that's what we need to do is say, we have this call this Thursday. You need to make every effort to be on this. And then if for some reason they're like, oh, I can't, I have this already planned, then I'll say, okay, well, here's a playback. I need you to watch it as soon as possible and then message me. They need to be responsible for messaging me something that proves that they watched it. And I know what's happened with me is that, Melanie does the calls and I'm not on, so I don't know if my people got on or not. And then there's 2 weeks before there's another call and I'm not giving them a playback because I didn't know they weren't on the call. Like it's just this whole big miss on my part. And I feel like a lot of us are that way because we've been stretched very thin. So if y'all have any suggestions on how we can do better with that, I'd love to hear them.
Do we need to recreate? I know we used to do really well with our new consultant PowerPoint that just kept us on track, but then we ad-libbed whoever was doing the call, with the inspiration part or telling our story or, why we joined and how we saw success right away, that type of thing. But I do like the ability to have something concrete in case someone had to fill in or, stuff like that.
She's got a really great, I call it a template or whatever, but here's the bad thing too. And I put this in the chat with Melanie and Jennifer. Y'all know I'm not tech savvy and I love to be a team player, but I kind of suggested to Jennifer last week, maybe someone else besides me that's full-time PC and not working another separate job can dedicate to it because I don't have time to figure out how to screen share and all that. So, but she really has a really great with posts and they're vibrant and they're, exciting. And she kind of has a script. Of course, I don't really go by the script, but I try to make it fun. But if there's somebody else in our group or not just our driven group, but anybody, any maybe directors that don't like to do Monday night calls that could step up or something, but it definitely does. And we all agree, Melanie says it, she needs some.
And that's why I like you on the call, Joni, is because you do offer, like the two of you together, she offers the information, you offer the excitement.
Right.
And that's why I really don't want you try to step back from this because I feel like the two of you make a good pair. However, I'm willing to, do what I can to help bring it up some too.
What if I mean, I know it's good for calls, but what if we made a video? I mean, I know that's not holding them accountable, but here's another thing too. Especially lately, which I think is great. It's a lot of calls. We got a Monday night call. We got a Tuesday night call. Now we got the Tuesday better, which is great. I'm loving it. But I'm wondering if some of these people are just feeling overwhelmed because they're like, I just want to get, I mean,
but there's not that many people that would be on all of them.
It's more for
nobody
us
would
that
be
we
on
get
all of
overwhelmed.
Nobody would be on all of them except for the people that are leading them. I mean,
Right.
you have the Monday night call, that is for everybody.
right.
Tuesday nights are only for specific people. And
Mhm.
those people that are on those calls are dedicated and really wanting to grow their business. The average consultant's not going to be on those, and the average consultant's not going to be on a
Yeah.
Thursday night call either. So it's not too much for a consultant. I can see where it's, feels like too much for a director. But I'll tell you, the directors aren't even on those calls either. So no, I'm going to go ahead and stretch out here and say none of the directors ever get on the Thursday night call, except for the ones leading them. You
Mhm.
and Melanie.
Well,
So
that's-
that's not an obligation for a director. They're not on those.
Right.
Very rarely do I even see directors on the Monday night calls. I mean, I do, but if we're not the ones leading it, we're not on them, right? Because we have the info. So I just feel like it's not too many calls. Yeah, there's a whole list of them, but not for everybody to be on.
Yeah.
When I first joined, I felt very, very overwhelmed. I have to be honest with you, because I was not only told about all these different meetings, I was thrown in different chat groups.
Mhm.
Even now, I have to write down sometimes which ones. I don't feel overwhelmed. It's my fault if I feel overwhelmed now, because I am a director and, I just have to keep track of that. That's part of it. But as a new consultant, I mean, I don't know whether maybe we can create a new consultant, a new consultant chat group instead of putting them in maybe the Unstoppable, the Limitless, the Nichols, that it's just, maybe it's overwhelming to them. Maybe you can interview a couple of the new consultants and ask them.
Well,
Is
and
there
we've
some-
talked about that before, Carol, and you may not have been on the calls at the time when we were talking about that. And that's why we created the Google Classroom. So then we wouldn't have to dump consultants into more groups, more team pages, more chat groups, all of that. So we were trying to streamline it and put people into Google Classroom instead of all the groups and all the chats. And then the same thing, Carol, we had tried to take away the new consultant chat because there were so many people in it. It was like ding, 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 ding. And then it was some ridiculous stuff in there. People were just chatting back and forth, which is great for those people that enjoy it. But the ones that do not were definitely feeling bombarded. So we even tried to take that and put it over in a new consultant group. What we found is nobody was responding. Nobody was paying attention to that. And that wasn't effective. So
I have honestly found, Carol, that, and we've tried several different ways. I mean, we had the units, we had this, we now have the Google Classroom. It's going to boil down to some will, some won't. Yeah, we all love those that are self-motivated that say, okay, there's a Google Classroom, boom, 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 let me get going. But lately, like Jennifer said, it is the society of I don't want to work. So they have to be hand-fed. So how I'm seeing effectiveness, even though it's not a high effectiveness, it is I add them. As soon as they give me their information, I want them to feel part of something bigger. So they do get added to my personal team page and they get added to my org page right away. I don't add them to Jennifer's page right away. And I don't add them to any other chats because they don't like chats right now. But I check on them every other day through Messenger myself, whether they respond to me or not. And I do have the project broadcast drip campaign going. I think I'm even going to get away from that, because it's not personal enough. And I don't think they're looking at it to even matter, other than like my first project broadcast saying, welcome to the team. Here's a Google Classroom. Let's get you set up for a chat with me. And then go from there after I physically have a Zoom chat with them and ask them how they're feeling. I even have a document where I have questions. Have you ever done direct sales before? What made you decide to do this now? More of a personal chat than overwhelming them with, this is your steps. Let's go.
You know what I thought about too is just working one-on-one with them until they are qualified. And then once they qualify, put them in some groups. Because if they're not going to qualify, they don't need access to all that info. They're not going to do anything with it. And then it's,
Sure.
you know, just bogging it down with people that aren't interested.
That's a
Like-
great,
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Or even if they hit 500, because I know it's big to get recognition, even for hitting their first 500, getting a free fast track reward or
Well,
something.
but you can personally send that to them. Like they don't know any other way. They don't know that there's a whole group out there that I mean, and I feel like too that by putting them in that group, there's all this extra info that they're just boggled down with. So, you know, if you're just one-on-one and you're paying close attention and they hit their 500 and you're sending them a big wahoo, congratulations, you hit your 500, here's the next mark. And then they don't know any different. They don't know that anything was out there other than that.
Hmm.
So, and I think too, well,
The only problem with that is if you do have a slow starter that just wants to piddle with it, 150 here, 150 there, but wants to still stay engaged, they're missing out on the other information, I guess. But I see where, I mean, I see both sides. It's just kind of like,
but what if you just put them in your personal team
Right,
at that point?
yeah.
I will say though, if y'all remember back in March, and I'm not trying to be mean to anybody, but whoever recruited that chick Penn, I think it was Jessica, that March new consulting group. I mean, they were all messaging all of us at like 2 a.m. and then chatting about where they live. I mean, so it was kind of bad, but at the same time, they all gel together as like a family. And I think that's one good thing I like about, you know, hey, I'm starting this too. Here's somebody else that I can ask, you know, that we're kind of going through it together. So
Well, if we put them in a new consultant chat group right away, but not the groups.
oh, gotcha. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
see,
And
and I'm not disagreeing because I just play devil's advocate because I don't know really what works right now. But
Yeah.
at the same, but at the same
Okay.
time, I'm like, okay, but have been some that weren't doing anything, that weren't at 1250, and then got inspiration from seeing others' excitement, and then they started working their business. So if I get to working one-on-one and I forget about them, which I'm not saying
Yeah.
doesn't happen because it does, and then I've left them go
That's
because they
true.
weren't in the group chats to hear from everybody. I'm not saying chats, but groups to see motivation. So it's kind of, I may do it at 500. I may test it out and say, you know, I want you at least started. I want you to
Yeah.
reach 500. This is your first goal.
Yeah, and I don't know the right answer to that. And that's kind of how we work this business is we just try something, and if it doesn't work, we bail on that and try something different, just like that new consultant group we tried to do, and that was a big fail. And then we tried to get back to the chat group, and we still hadn't really gotten our footing back with the chat group. But I do feel like it's because a lot of people are just not getting started right or successfully. And I don't know what the reasoning of that is. I think there's a whole lot of factors that go into it. And that's one thing with this business is there's not an exact science. It really is different with every single person.
Well, maybe you can ask that individual person. I mean, some of them may not mind getting included in all the chats. Like at the time when I started, I thought I was going to go crazy. You know, I thought, oh my gosh, it's so many different things. So if you have someone who's just starting who works full time, they may not want to be included in a bunch of chats in the beginning. Versus someone who they want this to be their full-time gig. They may want to be included in everything.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important to, you know, individualize too, just like you said, but we won't be able to do that unless we're really working with them closely to get to know them better. And then we can just do it based on our personal preference and what we feel like is best for that consultant. So, anything else?
That's what I did with my last consultant that signed up. She signed up in July, and I Zoom called her every Monday and Friday for the past, I mean, not last week because I was on vacation, but I asked her, do you want to be included in chats? Do you want to be I don't want to overwhelm you, and a lot of information can be overwhelming. So tell me what you want to be included in from the start. And she didn't want anything like from the beginning. She didn't even know how to copy and paste. So she was like, I just want you to teach me like this, and then we can go build bigger step by step. And that's really worked for her. Like she set up Post My Party last week by herself when I was on vacation. So like, I think, I mean, she's the only one I've like handheld. But it was good because now she feels a lot more confident about like, okay, now I can be added to your team chat. Now I can like, so I just kind of told her what everything was and if she wanted to be added to that. And I think that helped her not get overwhelmed.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. You know, we had talked a while back about doing like a new consultant tech call where, and we did it one time and then life happened and we didn't do it again. But it was where I think Jessica had gotten on with some new consultants and she had Zoom up and they just kind of walked through some things. Some of the consultants would ask about, I mean, I guess she walked them through some of the new consultant things so they could see it. And I mean, I think that's a great idea because that's what we end up doing with our new consultants all individually. And if we can, you know, batch people together and do it at the same time, you know, I think the reason we didn't continue on with that is because we were all tired. Those of us that lead the calls, we're just tired because it's the same ones that do the calls over and over again. And then summer happened and all that, and, you know, so I'm kind of thinking that might be something I'm going to do with some of my personal people because I have 4 or 5 that are brand new that really could use some visual stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. I know everybody's schedule is different, but I would like to.
I'd love to help with that if you need it. I mean, I totally agree. And I know that when I'm more involved, which I am on the Monday night calls most of the time, I am, you know, with the Tuesday calls, and I have dropped the ball on new consultant calls. And back when we were doing them consistently, they were helpful. So it is, as much as it stinks, if you're wanting your business to go further than what it is, you've got to be present. It just feels like a lot at times.
Yeah.
But I
I
agree that
wouldn't care
consultant,
to,
tech calls would be great.
I wouldn't care to run a, like, how to do Canva call. Like, we could do it once a month. That way anybody that's new or anybody that's got questions could jump in. I've been doing some kind of one-on-one with people in the Hey team that have questions about stuff like that, and that's really been responsive because people get overwhelmed too with not the number of the calls, but there's so many people in the call, and if you want to ask a question, sometimes if you put it in the chat, it gets overlooked. So on these tech calls, if we keep them small enough that they can ask questions and feel heard, I think they're going to feel more comfortable with it, and that's going to make them more engaged with their business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Well, back when we were doing, and I'm not saying obviously again that this isn't right, but back when we were started the Monday night calls, we legitimately had a script. I mean, we didn't go by it 100%, but we literally had stuff that new consultants would get out of it, you know, like some of the tech stuff and like some of this. And then we would ad lib into whatever was going on at that time or that month or that was needed to talk about or hot to talk about. And I think some of that still needs to be added back to Monday night calls because I was like blown away last night. Like literally, I almost didn't even do it. I almost did not talk about Right Post because I feel like I talk about Right Post every 5 seconds of my life. And there was like 10, 15 people that raised their hand that said they didn't know about Right Post. And I'm like, whoa, we have gotten so off of what, you know, small things need to be embedded for those new consultants in Monday night calls.
Mhm.
Well, but you remember the reason we changed that up is because there were so many people saying, we talked about the same exact thing last month. And
Right.
it's how do you fit
You can't
how do you
please
make it
everybody.
for everybody? You just can't. So that's why we kind of changed it up, made it a little bit different. But yeah, I think we have big misses. I really do think there are some things,
Mhm.
standard practices that are missed because, you know, it's just things that we do every day, but people don't know to do it because we haven't talked about it on a call.
So should we brainstorm maybe like it's an hour call Monday nights? So maybe if we, people that are on these calls most of the time, brainstorm bullet points that, okay, these 4 Mondays, this is the part, this has to be covered whether people like it or not, because we have new consultants joining all the time. And then this 30 minutes is ad lib what exciting stuff's going on, ad lib what's working for other people's businesses that's hot and new. Like I went over commenting party last night. I had no clue until a lemongrass girl who joined my team told me she's doing commenting parties. And I was like, what the heck is that? And she got like $800 in sales from having her launch party as a comment party where she did a party all in one post on her Facebook wall. So I was like, well, that's cool because that's not as much of an imprint as a group per se. So there's people that don't want an actual group or a long 7-day party or whatever. So yeah, so that then the other 30 minutes could be ad-libbing whatever new stuff is happening or touch on Canva or touch on this or, you know, all the extra stuff. I don't know.
You know, I always say when you hear stuff repeated, you end up grabbing it one time. When Debbie Harris said, I didn't know about that right post. I texted her, I said, we did one 2 weeks ago when we were down the beach and we did reminders, remind invites. She was cracking me up. She goes, oh my God, I totally forgot. But see, if you hadn't mentioned it, it wouldn't have went into her brain to even think
I
about
was
it again.
flabbergasted. I literally almost crossed it off because I had went on that YouTube and Canva tangent and I was like, crap, we're running out of time. I almost crossed that off. And I literally had 10 or 12 people say, I had not heard about that.
I know, I thought they're going to think I never teach her anything because she's always saying, I didn't know that. And I always text her, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
But that
Okay.
stuff that basic new consultants don't know. And she just got started really because she hadn't done anything before conference. That's why I said that.
No, not at all.
So we have 20 minutes left on this call. Do you think it'd be beneficial? I have pulled up Monday night calls and an outline. Should we just go through it right now and hash it out and figure out what should be done? Okay.
All right, well, I love you all. I've got a music therapy session. Mwah.
Bye, Joni.
Jennifer, don't forget to let me and Melanie figure out what you want to do.
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
the list.
All right, bye guys.
Bye. Okay, let me screen share here. Desktop 2. Is it shared? No. Okay, are you all seeing my screen here? This was created back in March of this year, and it had like the script for new consultant orientation, Monday night calls, Rockstars on the Rise, and then new director training. So we had started working on outlining all of these, and then again, life happened, so then we didn't finish it. Okay, so the new consultant orientation is listed here. The things pretty much word for word what needs to be done, and then the first Monday night call, which is really supposed to be like a fast track director bound program. So we would talk about the perks of fast track, director perks, bookings outside the parties, and thinking of who may want to do this side gig. So bookings, contacting 30 contacts, don't stop, 5 every day, engagement posts. I feel like we beat the dead horse with this though. I mean, we talk about this all the time, and it's like we have to though, because what's the number one problem on our teams? I don't have bookings. Well, do the things, and but I get it. Right now, you have to do the things more often. Basic party info, join Thursday, pre-party. Okay, here's something. New consultants, when do we tell them? When have we told them in the past 3 months the flow of a party? And I know maybe we hadn't done that too, because Leah's team may do it a little bit different than we do. But still, to give them a general idea that you need to create your party and then give your host 3 days to invite people. And then you're going to run the party for, so long. I can't even remember when I talked to a consultant about how to get 50 people in a party. Are we doing that on a regular basis?
Have you ever thought of doing like maybe letting people know for the month on what Monday night calls will be about? That way, say if someone only has 1 Monday a month or 2 Mondays a month, they can pick which ones to go to that's more beneficial.
Yeah, and we've done that. Leah and Diana and I used to do, we each had a week, and every single week had the same topics, and we would promote, this is what everybody knew. Call 1 was about this. Everybody knew that call 2 was about that. But then again, we just had so much negative feedback saying, well, I'm not getting on the Monday night calls anymore because it's the same exact things that we heard last month. Well, it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't, because then we would throw in, new things that we've heard, that we've learned, that, I don't know.
But when you post that, when you post exactly what the calls are going to be out, people are going to say, I already know that, already know that, already know that.
Mhm.
Well, guess what? Those people already heard about Right Post and they still got it last night and was like, whoa,
Right.
that's amazing. So I do like posting. Like, I don't know if y'all saw that I posted, oh my gosh, Lisa Parker and I are coming live to you. You don't want to miss this. We're going to talk about some social media, YouTube, so some of the tidbit extras I would like to, because if you create FOMO of, oh my gosh, you're going to miss out on this information if you're not on this call, that does help inspire people to join. But if you give an outline or agenda, or, hey, we're going to talk about, how to book parties, they're going to be like, I ain't jumping on.
Right. And see, I was thinking the opposite. Like, I know if I only had one Monday a month, it would be cool to know what was going on, so I could be at the one that was going to be more beneficial to me.
Yeah, I get that. I get both.
So-
I get both points, and that's what's so difficult. is that
Frustrating. Yeah.
People
Yeah.
have completely different mindsets. So
Mhm.
I don't know. We've done it both ways. I can't say which one worked better.
Now I've been trying to get my team together for a chat, just a 15-minute chat for over a month now, so I know what you mean.
Mhm.
Carol, on that, I told Sandra this one day, you choose a time that's good for you to go and do a meeting with your team. Those that want to show up are going to show up, because you're never going to please everyone. If you have 1 or 2 people join the call, that's better than nobody.
Okay.
So you just talk and you do what you do with whoever. If you have 1 person show up, you talk to them and help them with their business. But you're never, even with our team, I can give them 3 dates and it's all going to be different. So I just kind of got to pick what fits into my schedule.
Okay.
Hey, here's another outline that I found that's more just bullet point. So we did this in April. And it's so week 1 is host coaching, how to get bookings, recruiting your host, and making your show unique. Number 2, call 2 is flow of the show, engaging guests, the right post, tagging people in posts, interaction within a party, rock stars in a party, customer care messages. That's a lot of stuff for 1 call. Booking 2 to 3 parties every show. Number 3 is social media, how to run your VIP page, promote your business, Canva, booking, selling boards. That's a lot of stuff in a call. And then week 4 is finishing the month strong. What's the special for the next month, and booking for the next month.
Joni and I have been following that when we do our Monday night calls.
Mhm.
I feel like that's pretty generally followed, this one, but I just had an idea. Like, what if we still do the Thursday night general new consultant call, but what if, like, I wouldn't mind doing like a late morning call and just doing like maybe 2 times a month, like a party walkthrough. So like, okay, now that you have bookings on your calendar as new consultants, let's, like, Monday, you're going to be confirming with your host and sending the flip the host message. Tuesday, you're going to be, and then doing like a full party walkthrough twice a month as kind of like the next step new consultant call, so that
feel
they're
like
not thrown.
I feel like that's what this is outlined to be.
Mhm.
This call number 1 over here. Can y'all see both of my screens here? Because this is how to find things on the web. This is very general new consultant info. Not every consultant every Monday night needs to see this. Yeah, I agree with you, Kelsey, and I've been thinking that for a while, that they get standard information on one of the new consultant calls, but we're missing a step in between.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that. I could do it at like 10:30, like the 1st and 3rd Monday morning of the month or something, after you've been on, or whatever that next Monday is after the first new consultant call, after the Thursday night call. And then I could just do like a half hour or 45-minute like party walkthrough kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that would be super helpful.
I'd have to create a recording, because I know I couldn't do 2 calls a month for my org. And I know we do our parties, inviting hosts on Saturday, starting pre-party on Wednesday. So we do it a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it would be helpful too to specify to what, like, a little bit more detail when we talk about 3 days of pre-party. What does that mean? Are you posting games? Are you posting recipes? Are you posting nothing? Are you posting 3 posts, 5 posts, 10 posts? Because These new consultants don't know that. And I'll be honest, I don't always know that. I've been seeing that a lot with my table training. They say, oh, 3 days of pre-party. Well, everybody's pre-party looked different when we did it on Facebook. So what does it look like now?
Mhm.
So maybe just a little more detail in some of that breakdown.
Yeah, I do feel like we're missing the boat on a lot of this small stuff. You're right, Wendy. I think that not only do they need to know that from the very beginning, but how to work with their host. You know, you get a new consultant that gets in and then they just think that the party's going to automatically post and then their host don't have to do anything. And that's not the case. They don't understand how to get the guest member number to 40 or 50. They don't know what to say to the host to get it there. They don't know, like, they just don't know what they don't know. So I kind of feel like we just need to take them from square one. And I feel like that's where we've been missing the boat. So how do we even, all right, I'm gonna talk. What are some things that we need here?
I mean, I think everyone could still are you talking about for the Monday night calls or we moved back to new consultants?
I mean, I think new consultants need an extra step. They need something from the general welcome. You know, here, go message 30 people, and then there's nothing. After they message 30 people, then what do they do?
So somebody signs up, their director welcomes them to the team, says join the Thursday night new consultant call. That's where they'll know or figure out how to get bookings. They'll work with their director or whatever. And then what if me or somebody does like, okay, then the next call is a Monday morning call at 10:30 where you're going to learn these are the messages you send to your host. These are the messages to send to your guests. These are how the party posts go up. This is how to interact in your party. Then once they've got that, they go to the Monday night call where they get more general business training.
Yep. That's perfect. All right. So the Thursday call is the messages. So that's talking about host coaching. Guest. What was that? All the things to send a guest. Oh, and then how about sending friend requests? Like, I don't know that we've
Mhm.
talked about that on things lately.
Can we even do that anymore? Because I haven't been able to
I
in
do.
2 months.
Well, I still do, but even if they can't send them, they could put a post in there for them to friend request the consultant.
If I send a welcome message first, usually it'll let me friend request them after even if they haven't seen the message. But if I try to send a friend request first, then I can't. It says you're not friends with this person or you don't know this person or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm getting that on both. I can't send them a message or send them a friend request.
Mhm.
It used to be if we had friends in common, I could at least send them a message or the request one. But now, and it doesn't matter if it's my personal Steve's or the business, I can't do it at all. I think that might be hurting our.
See, and I don't friend request at all anymore. I just have 3 or 4 posts that says message me this answer or message me this to get a free recipe book for this or whatever. And I have people
Well,
message me and
but
then
I
I go
feel
from
like
there.
new consultants need to be sending friend requests because they need to build their clientele. Leah, you and I have so many friends on
Sure.
Facebook and so much clientele. We don't necessarily need to be sending those anymore. But if I have a
Sure.
new consultant that comes on board with 200 friends, that is not nearly enough for them
Sure.
to have a good reach out,
Sure. Well, I'd friend request the people that message me and all that, but I don't, even back when I was friend requesting everybody, I mean, half those people don't even respond to me. So I've got to weed out and try to delete them.
Right. Yeah, I'm not
They didn't
sending
even
them to
talk to me.
everybody, but and that's where that post is important too. And Kelsey, you were the one that posted that, didn't you? It was really cute. What was that message?
Oh, the You've Got Mail thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's important to put in there. How to interact in a party, and then they follow up with the Monday calls. It's going to give them general business strategies. All right, so on the Monday night calls, we have host coaching, how to get bookings, recruiting your host, and making your show unique. Is that a good, effective first call? Or is that too generalized, too much stuff?
It seems good, especially after they've had that previous, like, here's exactly how to set up and run a party first, then they can get, like, that seems like the next step in my mind.
Yeah, so host coaching, that would be the main focus of the party is daily tasks. Nope. Okay, and then how to get bookings. This might just be some different bookings outside of the show.
Where are you at?
Are you all on this? Can you see this one that says new consultant strong start?
Yes.
Maybe at this point we need to talk about the different show plan, like different types of shows. So that's where we would just touch on like cooking shows, Facebook shows, table shows, fundraisers, bridal showers, those types of things.
Engagement posts that you can then reach out and get parties.
Recruiting your host, I think, so that's going to go in with the host coaching, right? And flipping
Mhm.
your host.
So what happens to, like, are we not going to talk about flipping hosts at all on Monday night calls then for those that have just been on board? Or, I mean, I know some of them have heard it. And also, like, if we're doing the 10:30 follow-up new consultant calls, so anybody that has, you know, like regular jobs, they have to watch the playback of that, right?
But well, this week one is the Monday night call
Okay.
that we're typing right now.
I in my mind, if you put the flip your host message in with the like new consultant host coaching like secondary call, then
No,
we're just
this
training.
okay. What I'm on right now, what I'm typing is the first Monday night call, not the new consultant. But are you saying it needs to be put in there?
I think flipping your host should be in the part 2 new consultant call so
Okay.
that they're learning from the start that recruiting isn't optional. I mean, it is, but
Yeah,
that's
good.
just the next step in host coaching. It's not like, and then your next step in your business is recruiting. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we
Like if we
definitely need to
normalize it
touch.
as host coaching, then it's not as intimidating
Yeah,
to recruit.
we definitely need to touch on some kind of recruiting in that new consultant call because now they can earn the steak knives with their
Right.
first qualified recruit. But on week one, if we're going through our daily host coaching and task, given the task to the host, that'll be in there as well. How to get bookings outside of your show, and that would be include engagement posts. Different types of shows. And then making your show unique. Does that need to be?
I feel like that would be in the week 3, like,
Yeah,
That's more about social media branding and
yeah, I agree.
yeah, that's week 3.
I'm gonna take that out of here. All right, so then week 2, whoops. Flow of the show. Engaging guests. This is where we do the right post, the tagging the people. We also, is this one gonna be the one we need to talk about increasing guest attendance? Or would
Yeah,
that
but I
be
did
more
want
in
to say
host
on week, not to, drag longer, but on week 1, do we want to add in there some type of tracking for reach outs, like your 30-day reach outs so that they have a tracker?
that really needs to be in the new consultant call one.
But not everybody's new consultant still. So I don't know if, I know that that's kind of like, I guess I'm going to struggle with the new consultant call, 1 being in the mornings, but 2 being the fact that it's going to be a totally different call than what I have to have for my organization. And like I said, I know I can't do 2 calls, so I'm going to have to make a recording and hope that people watch playbacks. But I know from experience and looking at my playbacks, there's maybe 2 people that watch them.
I really think maybe 1 or 2 people ever watch playbacks.
Yeah, no, it's hardly ever.
Yeah. And I'm one of them. I'm one that I will
It's
be
hard.
live on a call and I'll be engaged, but you give me a playback, I never make the time to watch them. I don't. So if I'm not on it live, I just don't get that info.
Sure. Let's see.
Um,
So the tracker should be in the first, that what Melanie does, I'm gonna say, like, make your 30 reach outs, here's your tracker.
right. And we can absolutely throw it again in one of these other weeks because if they're not a new consultant or it's been
Right.
a while, maybe they need that reminder too.
Or we
Yeah, I
could always
agree.
invite like old consultants too, like say if you're struggling with, I don't know, setting up a party or working a party or whatever, come to the secondary new consultant call.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they can be open to anybody, but specifically for new consultants.
Yeah. I know for a fact with it being during the day, you're not going to get everybody, but it's still catching some people and it's better than nothing.
Sure.
I mean, it
that's
doesn't
good
have to
know.
be, if I'm doing it, it has to be during the day though,
Yeah,
so.
I get that because I don't have another evening to do either. So we're just maxed out.
I can try to help you out also, depending on the day.
Mm-hmm. All right, the flow. So we have the flow of the show, engagement, engaging guests, right post, tagging people. There's my timer, but the time's up. Interaction with the party, rock stars. Anything that we need to change on this? I mean, do we feel like the rest of these, the week 3, like this is all a pretty good handle on it? Or I feel like week 4 definitely needs more stuff.
Well, like, where are we going to add in? I know this is like a friendly reminder, and there's people that jump on these Monday night calls that, like Carol said, like Deborah's been with us for a little while, but she didn't start moving forward till conference kicked her in the booty. So, like, how to find, dash information, how to find your excellence trip tracker or your or trip tracker, how to navigate Pampered Chef, or as well as how do you find those images and recipes and marketing imagery and games, the Facebook game things that we find, all of that stuff. I know that doesn't necessarily, I guess, have to be covered every single month, but it's great to add in there because just like the right post, I wasn't going to say it because I felt like it was common
Right.
sense, but it's not to everybody.
Well, then, do we want to do just on week 4, we could do other
tech stuff, like how to find tech, I don't know.
I feel like some of the stuff in week 3 could be put in week 4. What are we missing? We're missing some big recruiting parts in here. Where in the world? Okay, rock stars in the party. Here's recruiting in week 2.
It would be in week 1 in host coaching too.
Mhm. How to promote your business, Canvas, social selling boards. I feel like that's a lot of stuff there in week 3. And again, I think these were suggestions of things we could cover, but I don't know that Kanban boards need to be discussed every single month.
No.
Be wrong.
I also think we're missing the ball on holding ourselves accountable and holding everybody accountable for getting the 2 to 3 parties from each, or 2 to 3 bookings from each party.
Yes, that is,
So-
yes, that's nowhere in here.
And, you know, we had it in call 2 with the whirlpool picture that I had done forever ago
Mhm.
through one of my trainings.
Look right here. It's in the, can you see this other one, this Monday
Yep.
night?
Yep. That's pretty effective because it really shows you image wise how you can lose your business in a matter of a month or two and how you can boost your business with booking from inside your parties.
Yep. We need more strategic booking ideas on every call. Well, right here, booking 2 to 3
Mhm.
parties from every show, but this needs to be,
And put in their whirlpool picture, because I don't care if we show that one every single month, somebody's going to hear it. Because it really, that was one thing that hit me in the executive training that we were in.
let me look back through there, host booking challenge. See, I don't think we're talking about that on the call.
We haven't been lately.
That did
And
not work for me
objections, what about, because everybody talks about the answers no, have we even talked about objections lately? How to overcome them?
Nope. Maybe we could put that in call 3. I think we might need to go back to this one, this May Monday night call. There's some good stuff in here. Here's Leah's
I
daily tip.
remembered it having a lot of good stuff. It became redundant, I think, but that's where I said if we do like even half of it, and then the other 30 minutes open it up for questions or going with the flow with what's happening at that current situation, then there shouldn't be complaints because it's going to be half and half.
Yep. I think I really feel like this is what we need to look at, this May one, and then maybe throw in some other things. All right. Let me try to combine these two a little bit, and then I can send you all like a version of both of these put together, and then y'all give me your feedback on what you think.
What?
But I do think we need more structure in our, like, just getting back to all the basics. And if
We
you,
even had PowerPoints for those, didn't we, or something, slideshows that we changed
Yeah.
as needed.
I had to
I
dig
think we
those
have-
things out.
I think we do. I think I still have them somewhere. I think they were I don't think they were PowerPoints. They were the slide thing that you used that we put together.
Yeah, it was, yeah, I had to find those because it's whatever Apple's version is.
Gotcha. But it helped because then anybody could go with the flow and start it. You know that mean, so it made people comfortable to help start leading calls, and it wasn't just us.
All righty. This is stressful.
Because even when I've seen, and I don't watch all of Love's anymore, but even looking at what they talk about in their groups, because they have a group for their Monday night calls, I guess, they talk about a lot of the same topics every,
They do.
cyclical, but they ad lib new stuff.
Yeah, they are
So-
still doing the same exact things they were doing 3 years ago, 4
Yep.
years ago, however long. What I would love to do, it's just a timing thing, is I would love to listen in to every single one of their calls and just type out what they're doing.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. I might could do,
What if
one
we
call.
each take one?
I can do one call. I can do,
What if we each,
I'll look back and see if I can find there.
well, I know I can get her recordings because she posts them in that group.
Yeah. In that group.
So who else would be willing to listen to one of her hour calls and just type up the minutes for
I'll
it?
listen to one and then we can compare notes and, we can
Mhm.
kind of compare what we have to what we need to add or change because obviously it works. They're continuing to grow.
Which calls are these?
Loves Monday night calls.
I can
Because
email.
I've asked her multiple times for what she's doing on them. She's like, Jennifer, I did the same things I've always done. I was like, well, when's the last time I've been on one of your Monday night calls? I don't remember what you do. Do you have notes? She's like, I don't have notes on anything. I just say the same things every week. I mean, every time. She does. She has it burn in her brain because she literally, they do the same thing all the time, but they have a lot of guest speakers. So they have consultants. So whatever topic they're talking about, if it's host coaching, they find somebody in their team that does good host coaching and they have them share about it for however many minutes or whatever. So I do know that, but she doesn't have anything typed up. And I was like, love, I just want your stuff typed up. And she's like, well, you can watch any of my stuff. I'm like, who has 4 hours to sit there and read it and type it? Like, that's why I've never done it. So
Just tell me where to find it and I'll do one.
okay. And either Leah or I could grab some playbacks and put them in our dynamic group.
Yep, I'll look into that too. I know I can do one, but yeah, I said the same thing, Jennifer. I kept saying, I'm going to watch all 4 of hers and take notes because I want to know what we're doing, what we're not doing. And I was like, because we went from so structured to kind of, just a light outline. And I feel like we are missing things in there.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I know we are. Yeah. All right. So we will get those. Lee and I will try to find them, and then we'll put the playbacks out there, and we could just pick whichever one we want to watch, and whoever's willing to do it and take the notes, then we can. Here's my timer again. And Kelsey, you and I have a call, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that in the car, chat with you in the car, because pickup time is now different than it used to be now that the kids are back in school.
Girl, I can tell y'all I'm struggling with 2 different schools because I have to drop Trace off. I leave here at 6:45 to drop him off. Brady goes an hour later, so I have to sit in the waiting line for like 35, 40 minutes to drop him off.